Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the Minister of Children and Family Development said she wouldn't be listening to the opposition, and that's her prerogative. But what she does have a responsibility to do is to hear the concerns of thousands of anxious and upset parents from across British Columbia. Parents like Jennifer, families like Jennifer. Jennifer's from Surrey, and she says, and I quote, "My 14-year-old sister, Jenny Bell, is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. I have spent years finding the right people to support my sister, and to know that all this is being taken away is insulting. No loving big sister can let her little sister say goodbye to all the wonderful people on her service team, knowing that the amount of regression that our family will see in Jenny Bell will be heartbreaking and downright unethical." End quote. That is Jennifer's story. That is Jenny Bell's story. It's not the words of the opposition. Those are not my words. So will the minister stand up today, speak to Jennifer, to Jenny Bell and their family, and explain why she has made the decision to claw back essential funding that Jenny Bell needs and deserves?
Minister of Children and Family Development.
Thank you, This is not a clawback, Honourable Speaker, and I can assure families, like the family that has been mentioned this morning, that services will be available to all children and youth who need them across the province, in their communities, and services will be available based on need. They won't be locked behind a diagnosis. And we have 3 years to support families in transitioning, and we will do everything we can to make sure that that is a success.
Leader of the Official Opposition, supplemental.
Well, thank you very much. And the minister may have convinced herself that this is not a clawback, but let's look at what's happening here. Parents, thousands of them across British Columbia, receive support. They get to decide how best to support their families and their children. And this minister has decided that that is going to change. That, to the minister's answer, is defined as a clawback. What they have now, they will not receive. They will not have the ability to make decisions for their own children, to retain the connections that they have put in place. Megan Kane from Coquitlam wanted the minister to know about the impacts of her decision on her 4-year-old son. She writes, and I quote, "My son is just about the happiest, sweetest, most loving little person you could ever possibly imagine. At the time of his diagnosis, we were terrified, blindsided, and completely unsure of what the future might hold. With the October 27th announcement, we have once again been plunged into fear and uncertainty. It is abundantly clear from the minister's canned, repetitive answers that the decision to abolish autism funding was made rashly and without regard for the children it will impact and the consequences for thousands of families. This announcement has re-traumatized families, and the way it was done was unimaginably cruel." End quote. Again, those aren't my words. The minister can ignore mine. She can dismiss the comments of the opposition, but she can't dismiss the comments of Megan about her 4-year-old son. So will the minister once again stand up, and would she give those parents some hope that she will reverse the decision that she made because it had zero consultation with the very families that it will impact?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. It's very important to listen to families, and I want to reassure this House that there are no clawbacks in the new system that will be delivered. Whereas in 2001, when the opposition became government, they gutted my ministry, Honourable Speaker. They cut $15 million from services for children and youth with support needs. They cut child protection by $185 million and $34 million from youth mental health. Honourable Speaker, our government makes different choices. We invest in children and youth. We have increased the budget for children and youth with support needs every single year since 2017, and we are continuing to invest. And as we deliver the new system, we'll be able to serve not just children and youth with autism, children and youth with other diagnoses and other developmental delays as well, with Down syndrome, with brain injuries, not just children with autism, but they will still receive services according to their needs. Yeah.
Leader of the third party, second supplemental.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure the minister has any idea of how the words that she says in this House every day, the impact they have on those families. And to be perfectly clear, the model that thousands of parents are standing up to defend, I would remind the minister, that was a model created by the former government in significant consultation over a period of years in order to deliver it. The minister talks about listening.
Members, let's listen to the question, please. Member.
The minister talks about listening to families. Perhaps she should have thought about that before she made the announcement, because Autism BC has clearly said this minister did not talk to them about decisions that are going to change the way service is provided to their children. And the uncertainty isn't just for a short period of time. Let's drag out that process for 3 years while these families try to sort out what's going to happen to them. Here's what else Megan had to say. And the members can heckle across the aisle. These are the words of thousands of families across British Columbia who woke up one morning to a surprise announcement from this minister that turned their lives upside down. Here's what Megan had to say, and I quote, "The choice that you have made to target the province's most vulnerable children also extends to the thousands of female service providers who run their own businesses. The blatant lack of community consultation and critical thought that went into this decision would be laughable if it wasn't so utterly devastating. Going after disabled kids, mothers, and female business owners is appalling." End quote. The members opposite can groan all they want. Those are Megan's words and the words of thousands of British Columbians. They may want to dismiss them, but members of the opposition will not do that.
Order.
So a simple request to the minister. She has a chance today to do the right thing. She could stand up and give those families the respect they deserve by reversing the decision and making a commitment to talk to families in British Columbia before she alters the services that they have been providing to their children for years. Will she simply do the right thing today?
Minister.
Oh, thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I will reassure families today that we are listening to them. We have been listening to them. We will continue to listen to them. We will deliver services for their children throughout the province. I hear from lots of families, Honourable Speaker, who say they don't know where to find help. They can't navigate help, and they don't have the capacity to set up a suite of services for their child and youth. We will create a system that is a safety net for families so that they will be supported in creating and co-designing those services for their children. On a day-to-day basis, I know that families have scrambled to put together those services. So we will continue to support those families as we implement the new service framework. We're putting children and youth at the centre. We make different choices. We're investing in children and youth. And I will inform all members of this House, please inform everybody in your communities, that we are opening up consultations in November and December, and we invite everybody to join us. In more we will be continuing discussions, and I invite everybody to join us.